This is a sensor that I am so familiar with. The images that I can create with it are phenomenal, and I have just loved filming on BlackMagic. The fact that I get this sensor in a new square body has been a dream. It has been what everybody has asked for. Give me an affordable cinema camera that can produce some incredible results. And we have the Pyxis 6K. So what I'm gonna be doing here in the future is walking you guys through everything that I want to do with this camera, the content I want to create, the build that I'm gonna be building, and my overall first impressions, because the Pyxis definitely does have the potential to be the best camera that I have ever owned. What's going on, guys? Today we have a highly requested camera here on the channel that I will have probably forever now, because so far I've been really loving this. This is the BlackMagic Pyxis 6K, something that I have always wanted immediately since it came out, but was not really willing to upgrade to because I have the BlackMagic cinema camera. But I've been curious. As more and more filming happens in my life, I realized that the cinema camera just doesn't have the build out that I want it to, and the Pyxis does. This thing has been thoroughly impressing me with the fact that I get to just build a camera rig again. Like, honestly, most of this was built with spare parts that I have lying around. I have the actual rig cage and everything coming in soon, so I'm gonna be excited to talk about that. But what I wanna do today is give you my experience so far, because I've been able to create some wonderful things with this sensor. Having it in a new body style, it's been refreshing. So I'm out and about and using the Pyxis for the first time, and overall, the experience that this camera brings is completely different than the BlackMagic cinema camera. See, I'm a person who believes that the BlackMagic cinema camera is an amazing camera, and if you want the image, and that's what you're worried about, then they're the same. But the feeling I get from using the Pyxis has been really, really good. It feels like when I first bought the BlackMagic 6K and I was locked in, pulling focus, and everything just felt so new. If that makes sense, that's kind of how this feels. Overall, I really, really like the look of this camera. I like the feel of it, and I've had to do a few things to make sure that it works proper. And so what I wanna do is I wanna take a moment to go over a couple of the things that are on this rig that you may have to find yourself needing, because inherently the camera doesn't come fully operational, but this is what you need to get started. One of the first things that I wanted to talk about in case you are looking into getting something like this is the monitor I found. This monitor is the Viltrox 6-inch. This thing has a built-in like sun hood that just kind of like pops out. And that way, if you are wanting to run and gun with this thing in the daylight, it's a 2000 nit monitor. I really have kind of been spoiled by my 3000 nit monitor, but this has the built-in lens hood, and so far, this has been just enough. And the great thing is this is the cheapest SDI monitor that I was able to find across the board. And it's a 6-inch monitor. So if you ever feel like 5 inches is too small, wink, wink, and 7 inches is too much, 6 inches has been really, really good for me. And honestly, for something that's like, well, I got it for about $220. I think the price went up a little bit right after I bought it. But honestly, very good for the price, like kid you not. And what I decided to do was, since I don't have any of the parts in yet, because I'm gonna be going with a full Condor Blue build of this thing, I decided to take some of the pieces that I have so far and make something with it. The fact that I can make a cageless build like this, and you know, be here with the monitor, be here with my focus using my 45mm or my 65mm Blazar, and not have to worry about a cage on this thing is pretty impressive. I have a side handle from just some spare parts that I had over. I have a battery plate from some spare parts I had over. But one of the cool things I have here is this Condor Blue base plate. This thing is a height adjustable base plate. So something that's in here is a lens support bracket. It keeps my front end from getting too heavy and damaging my lens mount. But when I put it on there, initially it sat too low to where I couldn't sit the camera flat on the table. But thanks to the adjustable height of the base plate, the camera sits flat. And that is just a little small reason why I really like this base plate. What I have here is the Trader PL to L mount, relatively cheap for what it gives you. It's about $100, but I use this on the BlackMagic Cinema camera. This thing has been awesome for adapting my DZO Baseplate primes as well as the Blazar anamorphics to my Pyxis. I needed a battery plate and a V-mount battery to power the Pyxis. You can get the Sony batteries and you can make this package a lot smaller and just power it direct from camera, but I really like the ability to have V-mount batteries because I already own a ton of them. V-mounts are pretty much universal across all my cameras, and I really like building for a universal rigs. It's the same reason I didn't necessarily go with the Mofo Poco adapter that has built-in NDs into the mount. I like to go with a matte box. One, I like the look of matte boxes, but matte boxes are universal because I spend $500–600 on NDs in the mount. That's cool, but the moment I need NDs on a different camera, it doesn't work. One of the best things that I found was a 1 terabyte CF Express Type B, $200. It's the best price that I found so far, so I'm gonna link it in the description also. And I got a focus wheel side handle, just some additional things. This is the tilt-a focus wheel side handle. I've had this thing for years, and I'm gonna continue to use it. But I really like this build out. I currently have the Polar Pro Basecamp matte box, but I'm gonna be replacing it also. I'm gonna go with the Condor Blue matte box and kind of make this entire system a really heavy duty cinema rig. Basically, having the Cageless Design is really unique, but I can't wait to rig this thing out in the future. I have the smaller rigs like the Sony FX3 and FX30 to where if I want something that's smaller running gun, I can do that. And I have the flexibility of the Ronin 4D, but I really wanted something that could feel like an A camera, something that can be a little bit more built out. And I'm really excited to build this thing out. So, first impressions, really, really good. The build quality of the Pyxis is way better than I thought it was going to be. I genuinely thought it was gonna follow like the BlackMagic Cinema camera and have a bit of a plastic design. This thing is dense and thick, and I really like that. The side screen is taking some getting used to. I'm not used to not having the ability at all to have a flexible screen or that I can see inherently. And having a monitor up top has definitely helped that. You know, it's really, really convenient to just have something to look directly into and not have competing monitors up top. So having the side screen really works for me as well, because when I'm doing interviews and long form interviews and I sit off to the side, oftentimes I bring a monitor down to the side anyway. So this kind of helps. It's really different. It's taking getting used to because it's not inherently the way I'm used to filming, but getting into these higher end cameras, I'm gonna have to get used to more things like this. Something I have in addition to the Pyxis is I have the BlackMagic viewfinder, but currently I don't have the top handle. So I'll be getting the BlackMagic's top handle and doing videos with the viewfinder. I'll be doing more videos here on the Pyxis. I just kind of wanna show you guys what I'm working with going forward for a little bit. So I'm really, really interested because this is a camera that I have been, it was like inevitable. You know, it's one of those things where this came out and I knew this is gonna be an ideal camera for what I want to do. And ultimately, now that I have it in my life, my Sony cameras are looking grim because for what I do, I'm definitely selling my FX30. And for what I do, I'm most likely gonna keep my FX3. It's just too versatile of a camera. But I think for these interviews, for this long form stuff, I'm going to be rocking a Pyxis, a BlackMagic Cinema camera, but here's what I want to do. Right before I made this video, right before I started filming or kind of getting into the process of this, BlackMagic actually announced their Ursa Cine 12K for like $7,000. And brother, I don't know of another camera that produces a better image and has more to offer at that price point than that camera. That is an insane camera to be. So here's what I want to do. I want to make the Pyxis my B camera, like the ultimate mid-size B camera, because I am pretty sure I'm going to get that Ursa. I don't know when, I don't know how, but for right now, I'm going to explore. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to shoot more, film more with the Pyxis. I'm going to be using it for all of my shoots and just rocking with this thing. And I'm very excited to start building this thing out properly But yeah, if you're a first-time Pyxis buyer or if you're somebody who's just interested in the information, look into the Viltrox 6-inch SDI monitor, get you a proper SDI cable. The protocol for SDI, something that you can keep in mind, is last in, first out. Basically, if you're working with an SDI channel, you can surge the channel. It's a really weird particular thing in case you're new to it like me, but power on your camera, power on your monitor, then plug your SDI cable in. And if you want to cut everything off, unplug your SDI cable, then cut your camera and your monitor off. The SDI cable is the last thing in and it is the first thing out. That is just proper protocol. Here's the thing, because I'm new to it and because I've seen a lot of mixed reviews, some people are like, hey, I've went 10 years and never blown an SDI port. And some people are like, hey, protocol exists for a reason. I'm new to SDI. I'm gonna follow the rules for right now and hope I don't blow an SDI channel. But if you have any questions, if you wanna see anything with this camera, if you wanna see literally anything, I'm open for it, because a lot of the content I'm about to start creating, a lot of the things going forward are gonna be revolving around this camera, my experience with it, and I'm really, really excited to get back into the world of rig building, get back into the world of like exploratory camera content, because the Ronin 4D, man, it's what I used prior to this, and it's that all-in-one solution. But aside from something like that, this has been the camera for me so far. I really, really, really like this build out. So I'm gonna list all the relevant parts of this camera in the description. Really been enjoying the image that this camera produces. Obviously, it's 99.9% similar to the Blackmagic cinema camera that I'm filming on right now. Pairing it with the Blazar anamorphic lenses, filming in that open gate aspect ratio, creating some incredible content. This thing is going to be a workhorse, and I'm very excited to bring you more on this camera. So first impressions, because I don't really do first impression videos too often, very good, and I can't wait to bring you along with the journey and just show off the many things that I get into with this camera. But with that all being said, that's all I have for you today, guys. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you loved it, consider subscribing, because I'm bringing you more content just like this every week. So you guys stay safe, you're loved, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.